Hola amigos, ¿cómo están? Soy Arrow, hoy les traigo un nuevo video para el canal, esta vez con un video de Diablo 4 y vamos a estar viendo un contenido que han sacado en el canal de Diablo acerca de la parte de Endgame, dice Diablo 4 dentro del juego, así que vamos a estar mirándolo, vamos a pausar cada tanto y vamos a estar comentando qué es lo que nos muestran.
We're really excited about getting this game into players' hands, letting them experience this massive world.
A main cornerstone of D4 is play your way. As a player continues to advance through the story and into the endgame, they'll unlock a ton of brand new activities that provide meaningful progression, no matter their playstyle.
Bueno, ahí nos dice, sistemas de progresión sin importar el estilo de juego. Lo que nos quiere decir es que va a haber diferentes formas de llegar al endgame y disfrutando cada uno de un estilo de juego diferente, ¿sí? O sea, es como que vamos a poder tener diferentes actividades a medida que vamos subiendo de nivel y nos va a ser igual para todos llegar a la fase final de endgame.
Players will be able to keep progressing in the narrative of the game. Alongside that, the whole team has worked on crafting a variety of different experiences players can pursue.
We're going to have an entire world of Sanctuary for our players to.
Me hace acordar un poquitito a cómo es en WoW, por ejemplo. En el WoW vos podés subir experiencia o subir de nivel de diferentes maneras y cada uno con un estilo de juego diferente. Obviamente podés llegar a nivel máximo por diferentes caminos.
Offer, there's going to never be an absence of something to do.
After the player has finished the campaign, there's a lot more game to go and participate in. They gain access to a special, what we call Capstone dungeon that they have to complete. Once they're able to finish this Capstone dungeon, they're going to gain access to the first world tier.
Bueno, ahí nos habla de un dungeon especial para desbloquear un siguiente nivel de juego.
As you complete the world tier, it will open up the opportunity for you to go into your next world tier. That involves unlocking powerful loot, new items, and more advantages for your player to have a better opportunity at end game.
Whether you're a fan of dungeons, PvP, or just roaming around the world, there's a way to continue your Diablo adventure long after hitting max level. As your character continues to grow in power, you'll start with the skill tree and expand out into the Paragon system.
Muy bien. Ahí está diciendo, a medida que nosotros vamos desarrollando y ya completamos el árbol de habilidades, pasamos a la parte de sistema de leyenda, ¿sí? O sistema Paragon.
A lot of the choices the players make are grounded on skills themselves and the fantasies associated with those skills. Paragon Wars is a place where we're allowed to have a lot more depth, a lot more customization, many more options as you go.
You can rotate the board so you can.
Esto yo a simple vista yo lo veo como complejo, pero si ustedes se dan cuenta, cada vez que selecciona una opción le estaba dando, por ejemplo, 5 destrezas, 5 destrezas, 5 destrezas. O sea que por ahí está muy complejo a la vista, pero en el uso es sencillo.
You can choose a different path if you're like, I want to do more strength-based things, or I want these particular boons or glyphs. You can chart your path through it, and they're really a way for you to keep expanding your character and making it uniquely yours.
Similar to the Paragon boards is the Codex of Power. It's an in-game system that holds the aspects related to the character. You are able to complete a dungeon, and they will have a chance to drop an aspect that you can.
Esto del códice de poder y los aspectos es algo que lo usamos dentro de la beta. ¿Se acuerdan? Ustedes sacábamos las opciones de un ítem y lo podíamos aplicar a otro lado. A su vez, cuando vos terminabas algunos dungeons, te daba como recompensa uno de los aspectos que también se lo podías aplicar a un objeto.
Pick up.
And what this allows players to do is take items they're finding in the world and make them more powerful, turn them into legendary items.
It's really special to discover what kind of playstyle really means the most to you. Every part of Sanctuary is fulfilling and satisfying. Dungeons in particular are really close to my heart. Nightmare dungeons are going to give the players the opportunity to experience a dungeon that they might have already experienced in their past playthroughs. They'll enter the dungeon with a found sigil that alters the playstyle and the intent.
Bueno, mazmorras de pesadilla, en este caso serían como especiales y van a tener algunas alteraciones. Yo en esto lo comparo bastante con el Undecember, como cuando usamos las cartas amarillas que tienen determinadas características. Por ejemplo, no sé, te incrementa el poder de los bichos, el drop, no sé, te baja las resistencias, ese tipo de cosas. Me imagino que debe ser un estilo así, como que entras a esa mazmorra de pesadilla y se va a incrementar la dificultad, ¿sí? Por determinadas características.
Intensity of the dungeon.
They're more difficult and they have additional objectives, and then they also have affixes, which add a degree of difficulty for you and your group to work through.
One of my favorite affixes that you can find in Nightmare Dungeons is actually called Hellgate. Occasionally, these portals will open up throughout the area that will just pour out different monsters that aren't native.
Eso está bueno. Puertas del infierno donde salen bichos que son de otra región y que son bastante poderosos.
To that region for you to also be dealing with while you're trying to handle everything else inside the dungeon. There's over 120 dungeons to play through and find in Diablo 4, and any one of them can become a nightmare dungeon.
120 dungeons, eso ya lo habían repetido anteriormente, ya sabíamos que vamos a tener un total de 120 dungeons.
By finding a nightmare sigil and then using it to activate the nightmare version of that dungeon space.
Everything's a little darker, everything's more difficult. It's going to add a little bit of a twist of flavor on your particular dungeon.
There's some targeted activities in Diablo 4 that suit what you're feeling in the mood for.
The forces of hell are starting to have more influence in certain parts of Sanctuary in the vast interconnected overworld of the experience. And as the players are going into Helltide areas, you're going to find even more powerful monsters. And by killing them, they'll be able to gain these special shards they can take to go and use to purchase these big rewards that are available at these caches that are found littered throughout Helltide areas.
The sky darkens and the rivers run red, meteors fall from the sky, and the monsters get harder. We really want to create new...
Una zona especial donde tenemos monstruos de una gran dificultad, donde va a variar ya sea la dificultad de la zona como el drop.
Experiences for the players. There's one I really like called Whispers of the Dead, which you get from the Tree of Whispers. The Tree of Whispers is grim and a little gruesome, but it's also something mystically haunting and kind of beautiful.
The tree has a little bit of a grudge against our players and it would like for them to go serve its needs. So you're going to go serve these bounties, gather different rewards, different items, and bring them back to the tree in hopes that it can exchange.
Esto se ve como si fuera una especie de misión diaria, ¿no? El árbol de los susurros. ¿Es? Se me pasó el nombre.
Rampaging in a town. They're contained activities that you can do alone or in a group. We really wanted to create variety for people to be able to spend time where they wanted to in the world. It's very cool the way it's been put together, and I can't wait for people to see it, to be honest.
In Diablo 4, we have a focus on the world of Sanctuary. And there are parts of that world that we call the Fields of Hatred, where Lilith's presence in Sanctuary has begun to seep through and manifest these poisonous areas throughout the world. When players go to these regions, they get to engage in player versus player combat.
Zona PvP, ahí está. Campos del Odio es para darse masa con todo.
These offer opportunities for the player to collect shards. But there is a little bit of a catch. In order to get these shards back to town, you will need to purify them. Other players will definitely know that you're attempting to purify your shards, so you'd better be prepared to fight if you're going to be playing any PvP, and be prepared that you might lose some stuff in the meantime.
Once they've got the purified shards, they can take these, go back to nearby towns to sell them, and then use that to buy a whole bunch of like...
Importante, esas esquirlas nos sirven para canjearlos por objetos. Entonces, ¿qué pasa? Uno va a querer matar a otro para conseguir las esquirlas del otro. Es
cosmetic items and rewards.
It's a place for people who really love PvP and want to still get loot and still increase their character's power. If that's the way they want to play, they can.
Launch is just the beginning. One of the things we're really focused on is creating a living, breathing set of updates for players to engage with after the game has gone live.
It's really just going to be a way to keep coming back and experiencing more Diablo 4 in fresh ways.
We're really eager to hear all of your experiences and just enjoy the entire story with you all.
Bueno, muy bien. Ahí está. En verdad es como que es un video como para mantenernos prendidos, ya que faltan 2 meses todavía para la salida del juego. Pero creo que es un video que tiene muy poca información. O sea, habla todo muy por arriba, no nos da detalles de nada y son cosas que ya estaban en los reportes. O sea, ya estaban en los reportes o en los videos de desarrollador. O sea... en vez de haber sacado un tema, por ejemplo, no sé, Paragon, y haber desarrollado Paragon durante 6 minutos, nos tiraron un poquitito de cada cosa y medio como que tenemos que estar ahí esperando remanijas a que salga el juego para poder descubrir todo. Es entendible, obvio, no quieren que nos enteremos de todo porque si no, no tiene gracia que vos entres al juego y ya sepas todo. Hay que tener esa emoción del descubrimiento, ¿sí? Pero bueno, en líneas generales, un video más como para sumar al canal de Diablo, ¿sí? Que bueno, nos va a mantener así prendidos para ver si salen nuevas novedades. Creo que faltan 2 meses bastante largos, porque 2 meses es un montón. Vamos a ver qué otros juegos van saliendo en el camino también, a ver si no le quita un poco de gente a Diablo. Pero mientras tanto seguimos emocionados, contentos de haber jugado la beta y obviamente esperando la salida. Así que bueno, les pido que por favor me dejen sus comentarios abajo. ¿Qué opinan de estas nuevas características del juego? Nuevas o para los que ya lo conocían, ya lo habían leído en las notas de desarrollador, por ahí ya tienen una opinión formada acerca de cada uno de estos temas nuevos que tiraron en el video. Y si no, si los viste por primera vez y querés ver qué onda, deja el comentario abajo, ¿sí? Como para intercambiar opiniones y ver qué piensan acerca de esto que hablaron en el video. Lo mismo, si no estás suscrito al canal, te invito a que te suscribas, que actives la campanita y si te gustó el video que dejes tu me gusta, que nos ayudas un montón al canal. Me ayudas un montón porque me la banco solo con este canal, le pasaba factura, ¿viste? No, ayudan un montón al canal, así que les mando un abrazo gigante y nos estamos viendo en el próximo video. Bye bye.